Today I'm breaking down this Sasuke Uchiha sketch and explaining the process behind how I approached the drawing. For this piece, the main focus was keeping the pose simple and controlled while still making the character feel recognizable and full of personality. Sasuke is a character where posture and facial expression matter a lot because he's calm and serious attitude is such a major part of his design. I could even say that this, looking at it, I'm not looking at a picture of it exactly right now. I could even say the personality was a tad bit off because when he's young, serious, and he doesn't even genuinely smile until way later on when he's a full grown adult and he's finally um he has his specific backstory and he has to get past that backstory to actually be smiling the way that he was kind of smirking in the this photo that I drew him in, from what I can remember. But otherwise he was just very serious because the plot of his backstory and what he went through had him like that, specifically on purpose. Um, so he's a very serious character. So that's more of his personality. The reference I was using to draw this, it was from around when he was a teenager. Um, so not the youngest, not when you're first introduced to him when he's going into the class with Naruto and um what's her name with the pink hair? It's very similar to his name, Sakura. um on a side note, it's kind of funny. I don't know what the word Sakura means, but I remember growing up and seeing that name being used so much, and almost every time it was used, the character had something pink about them. Like when I played, there was an old anime called Monster Rancher, and there was a monster in it in one of the video games. And if I remember correctly, in the show, it's a very very old show. That show didn't last as long as Digimon did or Pokemon, but it came out around the same time. That was the third show. It's just that Digimon and Pokemon are the only two shows that lasted. I'm pretty sure that they finished the season of Monster Rancher or whatever, or however long it was going to go for, but it didn't take off like those did. But there was a character that was pink, and they were called Sakura. And I remember that being a reoccurring a theme. Characters, something pink about them, and they're called Sakura. Or a strong female. Like, so for example, in Naruto, and then also in is it in Street Fighter? There's a girl who's inspired by Ryu, and her name's Sakura, and she's like a strong girl, whatever. Just something about that. It's funny. Funny backstory about like how I've noticed that name show up in anime, but I have never looked up what the name is. So maybe if I looked up what that name even means, then I could just understand why that name gets used so much in reoccurring roles that I've seen in even other animes, but I just can't remember. But I've just seen this before, right? All just because I was talking about Sasuke. Let me get back to the topic of this video. Sasuke is a character where posture and facial expression matter a lot because he's called. I did say that. The first thing I focused on was the head construction and facial proportions. I paid close attention to the eye placement and jaw shape. This was zoomed out a bit, but it could have zoomed in more, and I could have done like the eyebrow. So the arm that I'm drawing right now in the video, the eyebrow that's on that side, I could have made sure that that was more clear. Let me see. First, okay. I pay close attention to the eye placement, jaw shape, and overall face angle because small mistakes can quickly make the character lose resemblance. That's true. This almost even looked a bit like Itachi in a way, because I'm the face look kind of a bit slimmer. It still could look like Sasuke if you know if you told somebody this is Sasuke, they would believe it. A bit older though, right? Like not right before he met Orochimaru and then went through that training arc and that whole arc, but it was, a few stages before that, right? I wanted to okay. After establishing okay. What I wanted this thing okay. After establishing the head, I moved to the torso and overall body structure. I wanted the stance to feel relaxed and composed instead of exaggerated or overly action heavy. One important thing with simpler poses is silhouette readability. Even if the pose is calm, the drawing needs to read clearly from a distance. The wrapped arm was another area I focus on because it helps create the visual contrast and adds more texture to the design. It's also part of the reference. And during that part of the show, that's specifically what he was wearing on his arms. Um, I also worked on the clothing folds and how they wrap around the body underneath. Thinking about fabric reacting to the anatomy helps the drawing feel more dimensional and believable. Another thing I've been practicing recently is making the anatomy feel more connected overall. Instead of drawing isolated body parts, trying to think about how the shoulders, torso, hips, legs, and legs all flow together structurally. Also, what I was referring to within the past few videos as when and you can even see it here, I very lightly draw out the skeleton first as a stick figure with balls for the joints and the muscle over it, and then draw the character over it. It might not be accurate even at all, but just having it there so I could try to use it as a guideline and help sync everything together and give it structure and root everything together properly. And it just builds better over time, obviously. Just for starting with that. And then also when I'm practicing and doing more repetitions of the same exact sketch, I'm doing that same skeleton before I start as well. So I'm just getting better at mapping out how the character looks from the structure all the way out to the final details later on, so that the character just looks more accurate. If that is my goal, right? Okay. Thinking about fabric, I did read that reacting to the anatomy helps the drawing feel more dimensional and believable. Okay. Instead of drawing isolated body parts, I tried to think about how the shoulders, torso, hips, and legs flow together structurally. I did say that. For the line work, I focus on cleaner, more intentional strokes rather than heavily sketching every area repeatedly. Cleaner line confidence usually gives anime art much stronger and more polished appearance. I also paid attention to balancing detail and simplicity throughout the sketch. Not every area needs equal rendering, and simplifying certain sections helps the focal points stand out more clearly. The facial expression was especially important because Sasuke's eyes, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce that properly, because Sasuke's eyes and calm expression carry a lot of the character's identity. Like very calm or sure of himself and serious. Because he seriously wants to gain power so that he can achieve what his current goal is at that point in the storyline. And he's confidently trying to build and gain confidence, but is also confident. Might even overestimate himself at times, but he was up for the challenge because he wants to grow stronger. So that's his overall thing that he has going on in his personality, right? To the point where that it bleeds into that's exactly how he literally acts in every type of scenario he's in. Because of how the story has shaped him so far in the series at that point, right? Hence why he would have that type. That's part of his identity. The face would give that away up mostly, right? Or his specific face would give away that that's his identity. So how am I structuring that and making sure I'm doing that properly, or what distinctly makes him appear in those ways that I just explained? Overall, this sketch was mainly about improving anatomy flow, posture control, silhouette readability, and expression while still keeping Sasuke recognizable within the Naruto style. Um, okay, and then um, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more anime drawing tutorials and sketch studies, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Just finishing up. When it comes to like what's going on in the video, just finishing up. Literally adding stuff in, and then some of the details and then the darker lines on the outside, right?